Heartwarming moment. Little girl's 3 words exposed an incredible truth, a millionaire's life-changing realization. In the heart of a bustling suburban town, a small diner buzzed with energy. Sarah, 32, gracefully navigated the tight spaces wearing a warm smile, though her heart carried heavy burdens. The aroma of coffee and freshly baked pies intertwined with the lively chatter, creating an atmosphere thick with dreams and desperation. Each day had begun to blur into the next, a relentless cycle of balancing shifts to provide for her 2 young daughters after her husband's unexpected departure. Yet through it all, her resilience shone like a beacon, a testament to the grit that defined countless American families. On an ordinary Wednesday, as she poured coffee for her usual customers, Sarah caught sight of her daughters, giggling by the window. Their laughter echoed through the diner, spilling over with youthful hopes of becoming a doctor and a scientist, roles filled with promise. Unbeknownst to them, Mr. Thompson, an emotionally distant millionaire, sat alone in a booth nearby, lost in his world of wealth. For moments, the reality of Sarah's struggles faded, replaced by her girls' light-hearted dreams. Months glided by, and the annual community charity event approached with excitement. Everyone in town made sweeping plans, yet Sarah's heart sank when she learned her daughters wouldn't qualify for assistance because of their modest means. Her chest tightened with frustration. It was just another reminder of the obstacles they faced. Fueled by a mix of pride and determination, she sought out Mr. Thompson. It was time to confront the man whose wealth seemed unreachable, while her girls deserved every chance. But as she approached, their conversation grew tense. To him, she was merely a waitress, someone beneath his status. To Sarah, he represented a facade of privilege, detached from real life. "Don't you care about the future of these girls?" she demanded, anger flaring as her emotions boiled over. Suddenly, in that heated moment of tension, Sarah's youngest daughter, with innocent wide eyes and an unguarded smile, stepped forward. "You're just like us," she said softly, brightness radiating from her small frame. Those 3 simple words echoed in the air, shattering the argument's intensity. The diner fell silent. Everything around them paused as Mr. Thompson stared, stunned. In that blink of purity, the walls around his carefully constructed life began to tremble. The innocence of a child transcended their social divide, piercing Mr. Thompson's heart in ways his wealth never could. He found himself grappling, suddenly aware of his own choices, feeling a stir inside, a yearning for connection and purpose. As the gala continued, the tension melted into a new understanding. Sarah transformed in his eyes from a mere waitress into a resilient mother fighting for her daughter's future. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. With newfound courage, Sarah began to inspire Mr. Thompson, urging him to use his resources for real change. As they talked, a bond started to form. Sarah's family envisioned a brighter future, one filled with possibilities that had once felt so far away. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson grappled with his past, slowly peeling back layers of isolation. Yet, as their worlds collided amidst a backdrop of laughter and hope, uncertainty loomed large. Would Mr. Thompson break free from the boundaries of his old life? And could Sarah's fierce love pave the way to healing in their community? The answers hung delicately in the air, charged with emotion, a promise of transformation, leaving everyone on edge, eager for the next chapter of this intertwining tale of justice, hope, and understanding. As the weeks unfurled, the community charity event loomed closer, casting hopeful shadows over Sarah's life. Every evening, the diner transformed into an unexpected gathering place for both familiar faces and new allies. With Mr. Thompson's quiet guidance, Sarah prepared for the charity, her spirit rekindled by the prospect of change. Together, They brainstormed ways to raise funds, rummage sales, bake-offs, and even silent auctions. For the first time in a long while, Sarah felt like hope was within reach. One afternoon, as they sat in a corner booth, the sunlight painting golden stripes across the table, Sarah voiced her fears. What if no one comes? What if we don't raise enough money? Her voice quivered, echoing the anxiety that gripped her heart. Mr. Thompson steadfastly met her gaze. You're not alone in this, Sarah. Remember what those girls represent. We'll spread the word. Trust me, we can make a difference. In the weeks leading to the event, posters adorned the diner walls, filled with bright colors and promises of community. Sarah's daughters joined the cause, crafting handmade decorations with glee, their laughter weaving joy into the very fabric of the occasion. Their determination lit fires across the town, motivating others to rally around a cause larger than themselves. Yet as Sarah and Mr. Thompson worked closely, an unexpected friendship sparked. In their shared moments, decks of laughter broke through heavy conversations about life and dreams. Together, they explored corners of vulnerability, and as the walls crumbled, Mr. Thompson revealed tales of his own childhood struggles. He spoke of dreams unfulfilled and the pressure of wealth that had left him feeling empty amidst riches. As the charity event approached, everything felt alive. Anticipation flowed in the air, like the intoxicating scent of coffee wafting through the diner. On the night of the gala, the hall was transformed into a tapestry of light and hope, filled with bright flowers and twinkling lights. Townsfolk gathered, their faces glowing with excitement. Sarah's heart raced as she watched her daughters skip around, their eyes sparkling with wonder, while Mr. Thompson stood nearby, observing. But amidst the warmth, doubt simmered beneath the surface. Would they hit their goal? Would it be enough for her daughters and the others in the community? Anxiously, she tucked her hair back and forced herself to breathe, clenching the small charm bracelet that hung from her wrist, a cherished piece from her mother. It was a reminder of strength in moments of uncertainty. The evening unfolded with spirited speeches and laughter, yet amidst the jubilations, Sarah's mind churned. Each time donations were read, her heart soared and sank at the same time. Why is this so hard? She mused. The reality of her community's struggles weighed heavily on her, reminding her that she was not just fighting for her girls, but for all the families who craved opportunities as well. Mr. Thompson prepared to take the stage to share his own journey and reveal plans for a new community initiative. Sarah caught his eye. A storm of thoughts swirled in her mind. What if he decided to step back into the shadows? Would anyone hear his words and feel inspired? The moment trembled on a knife's edge, teetering between hope and despair. But when he stepped to the microphone, it was as though magic filled the room. The warmth of the crowd embraced him, 1,000 hearts willing to listen. Would Mr. Thompson's revelation shift the tides, not only for himself, but for Sarah's family and the dreams that danced just out of reach? As he began, a hush fell over the crowd. Anticipation tinged the air with electric possibilities. Little did they know, the truth he was about to share would reshape the foundations of their community in ways no one could foresee. Mr. Thompson opened his mouth to speak, but the tremble in his voice caught everyone's attention. Thank you all for being here tonight. It means more than you can imagine. He paused, glancing around the room, soaking in the faces of friends, neighbors, and families who had come together for a cause. My life hasn't been what you might expect, he continued. Yes, I grew up in a wealthy family, but wealth doesn't buy happiness, it doesn't fill the void. He took a deep breath, and the room felt tighter, as if everyone could sense the weight of his words. What I've learned over many difficult years is that true richness lies in connection and community. He raised his hands slightly, urging the audience to lean in. I went through my own battles, battling loneliness, expectations that shaped me into a person I didn't recognize. But through it all, the moments spent in genuine connection have brought me back to life. A hush fell again. Sarah's heart pounded as she felt his vulnerability cut through the guise of wealth and success. And then, like fireworks lighting the night sky, he spoke of the girls, those bright-eyed dreamers they were raising money for that night. I see so much potential in each of them, he said. They deserve chances that were so often just handed to me. I'm proud to announce that starting next week, we'll be launching a community mentoring program. Each donation tonight will go towards supporting their dreams, providing opportunities like summer camps, art classes, and even scholarships. The crowd erupted into applause, fueled by hope and inspiration. Sarah's eyes shone with tears as she exchanged glances with her daughters. Mr. Thompson's passion was contagious, and the laughter and cheers that bounced off the walls filled her heart with warmth. Yet as the excitement rippled through the room, a shadow of apprehension loomed over her thoughts. Was this program truly the answer? Would it be sustainable? She couldn't shake off the nagging worry, even as the crowd began to buzz about what it meant for their community. Mr. Thompson continued to share stories of how mentorship shaped lives. But then, in the middle of a speech, an unexpected voice piped up from the audience. A little girl, not older than 7, raised her hand with an innocence that caught everyone off guard. "Do you believe in us?" she asked, her voice carrying over the murmurs of the crowd. The weight of her words hung in the air, striking everyone like a lightning bolt. Sarah felt her breath catch. Would the brotherhood of dreams expressed by Mr. Thompson really materialize? It was one thing to envision change. It was another to act on it, to believe it could happen to Mr. Thompson crouched down, his expression softening. "Of course I do. I believe in all of you. My dream for this community is built on the belief that together we can rise up and achieve great things." His gaze intensified as he looked at Sarah. "And I want to help you bring this to life." Her heart raced. His sincerity radiated with a promise she desperately clung to. As the applause echoed across the room, Sarah's mind raced. There were so many ideas, so many possibilities swirling within her. But would they truly transform lives? That night, while driving home, she replayed moments from the gala, her daughter's gleaming smiles, Mr. Thompson's passion, and the little girl's poignant question. "Do you believe in us?" It wasn't just a question for the stage. It was a challenge for everyone involved. As she parked her car under the flickering streetlight, a thought pierced through her worries. What if they could? What if they did believe enough to change the narrative of their community? And deep inside, a new hope ignited, intertwining with her fears. Tomorrow would mean action, the first steps towards weaving belief into reality. But deep down, Sarah wondered, could one night truly change everything? Would their dreams align, or would doubt twist the outcomes back into shadows? And as she closed the car door, uncertainty mingled with optimism, fueling her desire to uncover what lay ahead. The sun rose softly over the horizon, casting warm hues across Sarah's kitchen as she sipped her coffee. The emotional charge from the gala still lingered in her heart, awakening a newfound determination. Today would not just be another day, it would be the beginning of something meaningful. She glanced at her daughters, still asleep in their rooms, the peaceful expressions on their faces reminding her of the innocence she hoped to protect. Their future felt intertwined with Mr. Thompson's vision, each potential opportunity a thread in the fabric of their lives. But could she really help stitch those threads together? With shaky hands, she picked up her phone. "Let's do this," she whispered to herself, dialing Mr. Thompson's number. As it rang, her heartbeat quickened. What would she say? Would he sense the mixture of excitement and fear in her voice? "Sarah?" His warm voice crackled through the receiver. "What can I do for you today?" His enthusiasm fed her courage. "I want to be a part of this program to help mentor the girls." A pause. "You have no idea how much that means. Your passion is contagious, and I can feel it through the phone." His exuberance washed over her like a wave, pushing her apprehension aside. They spoke for a while about their ideas, dreams, and hopes for the community. Each word shared crumbled some of her doubt, expanding her vision into something tangible. "I'll gather a few of our neighbors to discuss logistics," she said, emboldened. "We can brainstorm activities and recruit more mentors. I'll reach out to the schools to get the girls involved." His voice radiated enthusiasm. "That sounds incredible, Sarah. I knew you'd be a driving force. Together, we can make this a reality." As the call ended, Sarah felt a flicker of fire ignite inside her. She put the phone down and stared at her daughter's photos adorning the fridge, each snapshot filled with giggles and joy. "Today I will believe," she promised silently, stepping away from the kitchen and venturing into the world outside. The streets of her neighborhood felt different now, buzzing with a sense of purpose. She spotted Mrs. Hughes, the elderly lady from next door, tending to her garden. Sarah approached her with determination. "Mrs. Hughes, do you have a moment?" "Oh, darling, I always have time for you." Her eyes twinkled with warmth as she wiped her hands on her apron. "I need your help with an exciting project I'm starting," Sarah explained, outlining the mentorship program and the opportunities it could create for the girls in their community. Mrs. Hughes' face lit up. "I've always wanted to offer some art classes. My late husband was a painter, and I have all his supplies. I could teach them how to express themselves through art." The ideas flowed like a stream, each person she reached out to building the momentum further. Mr. Thompson's passion echoed in her mind, urging her to keep pushing. By the time evening fell, she sat on her porch, exhausted yet exhilarated. That little girl's question lingered in her thoughts. "Do you believe in us?" It was no longer an abstract notion now, it felt like a challenge, an invitation to be the change she wanted to see. She had stoked the flame of action. Yet, in the quiet of the night, doubts crept back in. What if she failed? Would she let everyone down, especially those girls who dared to dream? As she tucked herself in bed, sleep felt elusive. The thrill of promise battled with fear of the unknown. Tomorrow would bear the weight of expectations, but it would also carry the hope of 100 dreams waiting to be awakened. Sarah had taken the plunge, but was she ready for the heavy tides ahead? As she lay in the dark, a whisper of possibility floated through her mind. Was this journey worth the uncertainty? Or was she simply chasing shadows? The dawn of a new day greeted Sarah with the same gentle warmth, but today felt heavier, filled with the unknown. She woke with a sense of urgency. The promise of tomorrow loomed over her like a mountain yet to be scaled. As she brewed her coffee, she glanced out the window, watching the world wake up. Birds flitted about, chirping their morning songs, and the neighborhood began to stir. Each sound reminded her of what was at stake: the lives of those young girls, each a flickering candle waiting for someone to help them shine brightly. After a quick breakfast, she sat down with a notebook, determined to plan the first community meeting. What would she say to the neighbors? How could she inspire them the way Mr. Thompson had inspired her? She jotted down ideas, her pencil dancing across the page as thoughts flowed freely. Her intentions transformed into tangible plans, each bullet point a step closer to her vision. With a deep breath, she gathered her nerves and stepped outside. The sun bathed everything in gold, yet doubt intertwined with excitement accompanied her. She first visited the school, confident in her mission. Students milled about, laughter echoing down the hallway as they moved from class to class. "Excuse me, do you have a moment?" she asked the principal, Ms. Ramirez, who was reviewing papers at her desk. "Of course, Sarah." Ms. Ramirez looked up, her smile warm but her brow slightly furrowed, as if sensing the weight of the conversation. "I'm starting a mentorship program for girls in the community," Sarah said, her voice steady even as her heart raced. "I want to bring in mentors, and I'd love to discuss how we can involve the school." Ms. Ramirez leaned forward, intrigued. "That's wonderful. The girls could really benefit from that. What do you have in mind?" As they brainstormed, inspiration struck Sarah like a bolt of lightning. Ideas flowed between them, and soon they sketched out a plan for engaging students after school workshops, guest speakers, and even a showcase to highlight their talents. In that moment, the vision became clearer, as if the fog had lifted. After their meeting, Sarah felt lighter, ready to share her plans with the community. She hurried home, eager to call her neighbors and share the news. The world shimmered with new possibilities as each step pointed toward a brighter future. That evening, she knocked on doors, gathering excitement as she explained her vision to anyone willing to listen. Mrs. Hughes signed up immediately to lead the art classes. Mr. Thompson's enthusiasm proved infectious as more parents began to rally support. As she spoke, she felt their doubts and fears melt away, like ice in the sun. But toward the end of the day, she noticed an elderly woman standing alone at the edge of the gathering, her demeanor unreadable. Sarah approached, her heart thumping. "Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm working on a mentorship program for the girls," she said gently. The woman's eyes were sharp yet glistened with untold stories. "That's admirable, dear. But do you think they believe in themselves as much as you believe in them?" The question trailed in the air, heavy like a lead weight. Sarah's gaze dropped momentarily. The fragile thread of confidence began to fray. "I hope they do. I want to show them that their dreams matter," she refrained, but inside, her certainty wavered. "Dreams can only grow if they're nurtured," the woman said cryptically, her gaze piercing through Sarah's fears. Those words hung on Sarah's heart like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. She knew nurturing those dreams wouldn't just be about creating opportunities. It would require cultivating belief, resilience, and courage both in herself and in the girls. The urgency of the task transformed into a quiet strength. She realized the transformation would be a shared journey, one that would flourish through community and support. As the gathering dispersed, fear and determination danced within her. Would she discover the courage to nurture not only her own dreams, but also the dreams of every girl she wanted to empower? Tomorrow would be pivotal, and she had a humbling realization. It would take much more than a plan. It would require heart. Yet the little girl's words echoed a promise. "Do you believe in us?" What if Sarah's belief was the foundation they needed? As she lay in bed that night, sleep remained elusive once again, thoughts racing like wildfire with questions unanswered and possibilities lingering. Would the battle between hope and fear unfold favorably in the end? The sun rose on another day, but today, it felt different to Sarah. A sense of purpose thrummed in the air, igniting her spirit. She dressed quickly, her movements fueled by a blend of excitement and anxiety. Today was the first community meeting, a milestone that could either elevate her vision or shatter it into 1,000 pieces. As she walked to the community center, she rehearsed her speech in her head. She envisioned the faces of the women and men who would gather to hear her words. Would they stand behind her idea? Would they share her passion for mentoring and nurturing the dreams of the girls? The questions swirled in her mind, heavier than any weight she had carried before. Arriving 15 minutes early, Sarah took a moment to breathe. The community center stood proud, welcoming, and bright. She entered the room, setting up chairs in a circle, placing a small table at the front for her notes. Visual aids were prepared, but it was the spark in her own heart that she relied on most. People started trickling in. Friendly faces mingled with others Sarah didn't recognize. Some were curious, others doubtful. She could sense their apprehension. Would they dismiss her dream? Would they think her a foolish idealist? Each new arrival added a knot of anxiety in her stomach. "Hey there, Sarah." Mr. Thompson's bright smile cut through the tension. He was a steadying force, with a confidence that seemed to radiate to others. "You've got this. Just remember, it's about passion and belief." With a nod, she drew strength from his words. Soon, the room buzzed with conversation and laughter, a cautious camaraderie forming among the attendees. Once the clock struck 6, Sarah knew it was time. She stood and took a deep breath, her gaze sweeping across the circle of faces before her. "Thank you all for coming. Today, we're here to talk about our girls. They're filled with dreams and potential, but they need our support to help those dreams take flight." As she spoke, she shared her vision, the workshops, the mentors, the encouragement. Passion bubbled in her words, and she felt the energy shift. People leaned in, hanging onto her every phrase. "You might wonder," she continued, "if they believe in themselves. I ask you to believe in them first. If we can ignite that spark, they will learn to see their own light." Sarah's voice wavered with emotion as she reiterated the importance of nurturing those dreams. Each story she shared, each example of what could happen when someone believed in a girl's potential, resonated like chords played in harmony. Gradually, hands shot up. Questions came pouring in, some laced with doubt, but most from a genuine place of curiosity and hope. Ideas began to swirl around the room, ideas for different initiatives, suggestions for guest speakers, even offers to help fund the upcoming activities. But then a familiar voice broke through, the elderly woman from the gathering the previous evening. "You've painted a lovely picture, dear, but it's not just about what you believe. It's about the work that follows." The room quieted, tension returning. Sarah felt heat rise to her cheeks. "I agree," she responded with newfound conviction. "It's not enough to just dream. I need your help, your voices, your hands. Together, our work can change lives." To her surprise, the elderly woman smiled, the spark of approval shifting the atmosphere. "Then let us roll up our sleeves." Cheers erupted as the energy filled the room, a current of excitement transforming the air. Ideas flowed freely now, bouncing off the walls like sunlight. Plans began to form, partnerships were forged between parents and teachers, and for every voice raised, hope seemed to blossom. With every comment, Sarah's heart raced. This was more than just a meeting, it was a movement beginning to take shape. By the time they all agreed on a follow-up meeting, the sense of camaraderie felt like a warm hug. As people began to leave, a realization washed over her. This was just the beginning, the first small steps towards something monumental. But lingering doubts still crept in, reminding her of the elderly woman's question. Could they really believe? Could she keep this momentum rolling after the initial excitement faded? When she got home, her notebook lay open on the table. She stared at the blank pages, overwhelmed with possibilities. Tomorrow she would need to seek out mentors, and she would need to remember what was at stake. Before she closed her eyes that night, a thrilling thought ignited in her mind. What if the next meeting could introduce a surprise guest, someone who made it against all odds? Someone who could show just how powerful dreams could be when fueled by belief. With that question dancing in her thoughts, Sarah drifted into a restless sleep, excitement and hope weaving through her dreams. Would she find that perfect mentor? Tomorrow would tell. Morning sunlight streamed through Sarah's window, casting warm patterns across her bedroom floor. She awoke with a renewed sense of determination, ready to chase the dreams that danced yesterday. Today was a big day, and her mind buzzed with ideas about the meeting. What if she really could find the perfect mentor? She felt energized, but a seed of doubt began to sprout. Pushing those thoughts aside, she dressed quickly and grabbed her notebook, jotting down a list of potential mentors. Each name sparked a wave of hope. There was Ms. Carter, the retired teacher known for inspiring generations of girls, and then, of course, Mr. Jenkins, the successful entrepreneur who made it against the odds. Both seemed like perfect candidates, but would they listen? Would they care? She made her way to the community center, focusing on the rhythm of her footsteps, counting them like a mantra, trying to ward off fear. Reaching the center, she took a deep breath. Today, she didn't just dream. She intended to invite dreams to bloom for others. As the meeting drew closer, the chairs filled again, and the buzz of conversations soothed her nerves. They were all back, the parents and volunteers who had pledged their support. But was this enthusiasm just a fleeting moment? The doubt clung to her, refusing to let go. When she stood to speak, she noticed a young girl with bright eyes watching her intently. The girl sat next to her mother, a simple figure, but full of light. There was something about that gaze that rekindled her courage. "Today, I want to reiterate why we started this," Sarah said, lifting her voice. "We're here for our girls, like the one next to you. They are filled with dreams. They are boundless in their belief that they can change the world." Hands began to rise again, excitement circling the room as people shared their stories about the girls they knew. Sarah was more than alive in this moment. She was a vessel for their shared purpose. Each story anchored them in their mission, and the girl's smile seemed to brighten the entire space. Just as the conversation lulled, the same elderly woman Sarah had seen at the last meeting raised her hand again. "I have a story." The room quieted as she began. "I grew up in a small town, not too different from this one. I had a dream to become a writer. Many told me it was foolish. Yet there was one woman, my teacher, who believed in me and helped me chase that dream." Her eyes twinkled. It was her belief that kept the fire alive in me. And one day, I became published. The very idea that I could do it was born from her faith in me. The words hung in the air, a gentle reminder of the impact one person's belief could ignite. As the elderly woman finished, the young girl's bright eyes sparkled with wonder. The message struck Sarah, resonating deep inside her heart. After the meeting, Sarah approached her with a smile. "What did you think?" "I liked it. You made me feel things were possible," the girl said quietly, like I could do something special someday. Tears pricked Sarah's eyes. This was it. Their purpose was clear. When the meeting wrapped up, Sarah's heart felt fuller. Hope swirled around her as they decided on tangible steps to connect with potential mentors. But even as excitement bloomed, a new worry crept in. What if Mr. Jenkins turned them down? What if he didn't see the potential in their work? Standing at the center of the room, Sarah felt the collective heartbeat of the community pulsing around her. It was stronger now, fueled by shared dreams and hope, and she knew she had to give it her all. As she left the community center, one question lingered in her mind. If she didn't reach out to mentors like Mr. Jenkins, would their dreams remain just that, dreams? Tomorrow, she'd take her first step in reaching out. Would that be enough? The sun rose on a new day, and Sarah felt its warmth seep into her skin, filling her with courage as she sipped her steaming cup of coffee. Today was about action. With her heart racing, she spread her notes across the kitchen table, staring at the names she had written down so fervently the day before. She tapped the pencil against her notebook, its sound echoing her anxiety. List in hand, she dialed Mr. Jenkins' number, each ring making her stomach churn. What if he was too busy? Too uninterested? Anxiety crept in, but she inhaled deeply and reminded herself of the little girl's words from yesterday. Dreams were alive, and they needed nurturing. Without warning, the line connected. "Hello?" His deep voice resonated through the receiver. "Mr. Jenkins? This is Sarah. I'm part of the community project aimed at empowering young girls." Her voice shook slightly, but steadied as she continued. She shared the vision, her passion flowing freely, illuminating the possibilities like the sun breaking through clouds. As she spoke, she could picture the girl who inspired her, along with many others whose lives could change. "Sounds ambitious," he replied thoughtfully. "Tell me, what makes your initiative special? Because it's not just about the girls. It's about everyone coming together. We've created a community where we believe in lifting each other up." She paused, trying to gauge his interest. Sarah took a breath, courage bubbling within her. "I believe that you have a chance to be a part of something extraordinary. You can help shape futures." After a moment of silence that felt like an eternity, Mr. Jenkins responded, "You're clearly passionate about this. I'd love to hear more. Let us set up a meeting." Relief washed over her. It felt as if a weight had lifted. She scribbled down the details, her heart filled with the thrill of possibility. Was this the first step in turning dreams into reality? She barely noticed the time passing as she planned how to showcase their project to him, poring over the details, brimming with hope. By the time she left for her shift at the diner, her feet were lighter. She moved with a vibrant energy, serving customers with a newfound glow. Conversations around her bubbled with normalcy, patrons chatting about the weekend ahead, but her mind drifted to visions of mentorship, role models, the young girls who would soon have more than just a glimmer of hope. They could touch the stars. Later that evening, Sarah laid in bed, the day replaying in her mind like a highlight reel. Each laugh, each connection, and most importantly, the voice of Mr. Jenkins agreeing to meet. In the shadows of her room, doubts flickered. An unwelcome visitor. What if meeting him was just the beginning of a long road filled with rejection? What if he turned out to be just another disinterested adult in a sea of them, just as she was about to succumb? The girl's hopeful smile burst through the noise. With newfound determination, she clutched her notebook tight. Tomorrow would be a fresh start, a chance to take the courageous leap and share their vision. But a lingering thought snagged her. If she could convince Mr. Jenkins of the project's worth, would that spark something larger? Sleep overtook her as possibilities danced in her mind, but as she drifted, a nagging worry surfaced. Was this dream destined for fruition, or was she merely setting herself and her community up for heartbreak? The next morning, everything would change, or would it? The morning light streamed into Sarah's kitchen, as if the sun was teasing her to rise with it. She rubbed her eyes, still filled with remnants of a night spent dreaming of change and possibility. Today was the day. The meeting with Mr. Jenkins wasn't just a formality. It felt like the key to unlocking doors she had only dared to peek through. With her heart thumping against her chest, Sarah prepared a simple breakfast. A quick bite to eat, that's all she could manage between butterflies flipping in her stomach. She poured another cup of coffee and grabbed her notebook, flipping hurriedly through the pages filled with ideas. As she walked to the diner for her shift, her thoughts ran wild. She rehearsed her pitch over and over, the words rolling off her tongue like a familiar song. Each step was a beat in the rhythm of hope. But doubt crept in, whispering that maybe she was just a dreamer. "Hey, Sarah," one of her coworkers called out as she stepped through the diner door. Maria held a stack of plates, her face bright with a welcoming smile. "You look energized. What's got you buzzing this morning?" "Just a big meeting later," Sarah replied, forcing a smile to hide the uncertainty underneath. Maria raised an eyebrow. "You'll do great. You know this place thrives because of people like you, right?" Sarah felt warmth from the compliment, but it soon faded as she moved to check her section. As she served coffee and took orders, she glanced around, noticing the steady hum of life that filled the diner, families laughing, friends catching up, and strangers exchanging pleasantries. Each interaction was like a thread weaving them all together, a community thriving even in small moments. During a break, she slid into a booth with a cup of coffee, tapping her pencil against her notebook. She could imagine those girls who needed support, their faces bright with potential. What if Mr. Jenkins connected with that vision? What if he could see the fire Sarah felt in her heart? But then, her inner critic piped up again. What if he didn't see it? Suddenly, a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, caught her attention. This girl was jumping out of her booth, laughter spilling from her lips as she raced to her mother. "Look, Mommy, I can do it!" the girl exclaimed, demonstrating a little spin. Her joy was infectious, and Sarah couldn't help but smile at the innocence and confidence radiating from her. "Who do you think you're impressing, huh?" her mother replied, laughing with pride. "You'll make a dancer out of yourself yet." The girl grinned widely. It hit Sarah, then beyond what she was trying to create for these girls, her efforts had deeper meanings. Each success was not just for them. It was never just about statistics or meetings. It was breaking barriers, cultivating confidence, and nurturing dreams. Suddenly, the bell at the diner rang. It pulled Sarah back from her thoughts. The lunch rush was starting, and she had to refocus. But as the familiar faces poured in, her earlier enthusiasm began to build again. As she moved about, serving and chatting, she caught herself thinking about Mr. Jenkins, the project, and most importantly, the little girls spinning with delight. If she could find validation in her passion, surely others could too. At the end of her shift, she sat in the staff room, her heart racing again. Hours had passed since she had first awoken, and now she was teetering on the edge of something significant. Would she let fear win, or summon every ounce of bravery for the meeting ahead? Her phone buzzed, a reminder that the meeting was just an hour away. With one last deep breath, she stood up, feeling the weight of purpose lift her. She was ready to embrace whatever came next, each step toward the future echoing that girl's laughter in her heart. As she walked toward the door, determination settled in. Today, she wouldn't hold back. Today was not just about a pitch, it was about igniting hope in the hearts of many. But would her courage be enough to spark the connection she longed for? As Sarah prepared to meet Mr. Jenkins, the weight of anticipation settled heavily on her shoulders. Today marked a crossroads, a moment that could reshape her dreams and the future of the girls she held so dearly in her heart. She took a deep breath, reminding herself of the possibilities that lay ahead. Standing outside the coffee shop where they had agreed to meet, Sarah's palms were clammy. This wasn't just a meeting, it was a chance to solidify everything she had worked for. The sun shone brightly, illuminating her path as if telling her that today was meant for something special. She pushed the door open and stepped inside, her eyes scanning the room until they met Mr. Jenkins' familiar figure. He stood, his expression warm as he waved her over. As Sarah took her place across from him, she could see that he was genuinely intrigued. "I'm glad to finally meet you, Sarah. Your enthusiasm precedes you," he said, gesturing for her to share her vision. Sarah unleashed her passion, speaking animatedly about the mentorship initiative, the girls dreaming of futures filled with promise, and how they could work together to uplift their community. With each word, she could see Mr. Jenkins leaning in, his interest piqued. "You have great ideas," he said, nodding. "But how do you envision sustaining this long-term?" Her heart raced. "By creating a network," she replied. "Mentors from various backgrounds, partnerships with local businesses, and community involvement. It's about creating a support system where dreams flourish together." Mr. Jenkins paused, considering her words. "You know, I believe in your vision. I was once a kid with a dream too, and there were people who saw my potential when I didn't. It changed everything." His eyes sparkled as he spoke, and Sarah felt a surge of hope. "Would you consider coming on board as an advisor?" she asked, her voice trembling, barely able to contain her excitement. He leaned back in thought. "I'd like to help, but we will need to set clear goals and actionable plans. Let's schedule weekly check-ins to keep progress on track." "Yes, absolutely," Sarah exclaimed, a radiant smile breaking across her face. This was happening. Their plans would call into fruition, illuminating the paths of so many girls. As they finalized the details, Sarah felt the burdens of insecurity and doubt lifted away. She left the coffee shop that day feeling like she was floating, the lightness in her heart guiding her steps. Each stride resonated with purpose, each glance towards the horizon filled with vibrant possibilities. Within the weeks that followed, the mentorship program took shape. The community rallied around the vision, families came together, and the girls became the faces of change. Sarah watched as the shy, hesitant laughter of young girls transformed into robust, confident voices expressing their hopes and dreams. One evening, as they gathered for the first workshop, Sarah stood in front of a sea of eager faces. Mr. Jenkins took the stage, championing their initiative, sharing stories from his own childhood. The passion in the room crackled, like the hiss of hot oil ready to cook. "We're not just here to talk about dreams," he proclaimed. "We're here to ignite them. You are the future leaders, doctors, and innovators. Let's lift each other up." As cheers erupted, Sarah's heart brimmed with pride, gratitude, and joy. Here, in this room filled with laughter and support, the burdens of the past faded into the background, like whispers silenced by the roar of hope. And there, standing beside Mr. Jenkins, she was struck by the truth. The power of believing wasn't just about changing lives. It was creating connections that rippled through the entire community. As she looked at the bright-eyed girls before her, Sarah realized they were not just chasing dreams. They were building them to last. Tears of joy welled in her eyes, and in that moment, she understood that this journey was bigger than herself. It was a testament to the transformation that could occur when support meets determination, and what began as a flicker in her heart had, through unwavering belief and community strength, ignited a fire. And just like that, Sarah's quiet struggle had turned into a loud celebration of hope, resilience, and the mesmerizing dance of what a united community could achieve. Now, if you felt the impact of this incredible journey, if you believe in the magic of transformation, I need you to act. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, making a real difference for our community. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. It means the world to us. And don't wait not even one more second. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support for this channel, because together, we can create a ripple effect of change.